It's December 31st, 2020. This is Roqe. Well, a new year is beginning, and there is much to take stock of in and around the Iranian diaspora. It was, of course, a brutal time in 2020, as we know, but in some ways an exciting one as well. This past year was the one in which we launched Roqe, and 8 months in, we are happy to announce a new team member and segment with the great Chef Hoss Zare debuting his Hoss-pitality segment. Plus, Kian is here with It's All Persian To Us. We'll look ahead to 2021, and we have a boatload of letters and correspondence to get to about our Why Pink Floyd series. This is Conversations from, to, and about the Iranian diaspora. I'm Jian Ghomeshi. This is Roqe. Hi there, welcome to episode number 72 of Roqe. Durud, Happy New Year. Sal no Mubarak, Mizun bashin, sad sal be in salha. That's all I know. that's that. I've used up all my sayings. I'm so tentative about being excited about a new year, given that it's probably hours away from turning to shit, you know what I mean? It's like, Happy New Year, this one's going to be better, and then there's like an earthquake or something. God forbid.
God forbid, knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, what do we say?
Or we wake,
snake bitten. You know?
We wake up tomorrow and it was all a nightmare, the whole year, just all of it.
What?
That would be crazy.
That's true. What part of that is?
I don't know. That's a movie idea. Someone work on that. Hey, Reza, write that down.
It was a nightmare. We are at roqemedia.com. We are on our ongoing mission to build a new audio-visual encyclopedia of Iranian diaspora identity, coming to you on SoundCloud, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Telegram. Chef Hoss Zare coming up with the debut of his new segment on Roqe. We'll be having him regularly here. Chef Hoss Zare's Roqe Hoss-pitality. You get it, Kian? Hoss Zare with hospitality.
No, can you break it down for me?
I'm just making sure. Everybody, hello, Groovy Shaya.
Hello, Jian.
Hello, the fabulous Kian.
Hi, Jian.
Hello, Captain Reza.
Hello,
by the way,
sir.
Captain Reza.
Yes, sir.
Captain Reza got into some kind of fight with some scissors. My dear brother, what is happening to your head? What is?
Okay, so I wanted to get a haircut for.
Yes.
I wanted to a little bit of trimming
about
for
time.
Christmas Eve. So I went to this guy who all hair salons are closed. So I found this guy who said,
Where did you find this guy?
Through a friend of
by the way,
mine.
can I just do the context before you
Yeah.
tell the story? You know, Captain Reza is a hush type guy. He's a good-looking
He is,
guy.
yeah.
He's a very nice, and his hair was fine last week.
I thought so.
He turns up this week looking like a teenage Iranian skateboarder in Orange County
Looks
who's
like a mop.
trying to defy his Irani parents by getting a really bad haircut, like some kind of like 1990s rapper thing. Like I don't know what happened.
I look like a troll doll, like no joke, like ridiculous.
That's right.
Actually,
It's shaved around the sides and the
basically.
back, and then there's a little bit at the top.
A mop.
You should just dye
I
pink
look like a
at this
mop.
point.
Yeah,
So-
pretty much.
so was this like a drug deal? Like you found an underground
To be
hairdresser?
honest, it felt like it because the guy lived like in the middle of nowhere. Literally, I had to like take a bus and drive for 15 minutes. It was just crazy. Like I found
Persian guy?
Persian guy.
You
Yes.
see?
Of course.
Yeah,
Sadly.
Yeah.
So a
I
friend
don't know what that means, but next time go to a Khareji hairdresser, I
He
guess.
was jealous of your hush tipness.
That's right,
He wanted
that's
to
right.
mess it
At
up.
least, yeah, I wouldn't feel bad that a compatriot did this to my hair.
That's right.
But a friend of mine told me that this guy has shut down his hair salon, but he does like he gives you a haircut out of his own home, and he's good. He's blah blah blah. Like he wears mask and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get just a little bit of trimming. So I go to him. I'm like, no haircut. I just want it cleaned up a little. All right. He gets to work. He's got his little zzz machine.
He pulls out like a shaver.
Yeah.
He's not using scissors to cut your hair.
Yeah. He was using a shaver because he wanted to clean it up, right?
Before he cuts your hair?
No. This was the last part of it.
Okay.
This was the last part of it. So he did his thing.
How long is this story, by the way? We just started the show.
Quick. I want to wrap it.
Describe
He's going into the details of. It was just supposed to be a little joke about your haircut. All right, go ahead. Please tell the story. Yeah.
So he wants to give me he wants to make a line on the back of my head, and then he goes to sneeze. He trips over his own foot and. That's it.
He literally does that?
He literally does that.
So he accidentally shaved part of your head.
Accidentally shaves part of my head.
So wait a second. So this is because he had to clean up his mistake?
That's
he shaved the rest of your head?
So then he looks at me and he's like, you know, the new fashion is that it fades. No. I'm like, you screwed it up, didn't you? And he's like, I'm so sorry.
I actually was thinking you look better this week.
You do?
Since last
really?
week. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I mean, it looks like a fresh cut
Have
to
you
me.
taken a good look at him or just seeing through the glass?
I don't make out with Reza, so I haven't taken a close-up look.
Right. How did it go over with the new girlfriend and everything?
She hated it. She hated it. She hated every second of it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not. I don't want to. We're close enough that I can say. I said to you, like, what did you do? You know, I mean, I could introduce you to a good hairdresser or whatever. I don't know why you went and did this to yourself. This is some kind of end
Painful.
of 2020, self. So anyway, it's been you look. It'll grow out, and you're a good-looking guy. It doesn't matter. It's been quite a couple weeks, right?
Yes.
I mean, we had the Pink Floyd special, which I'm thrilled that so many people have been checking it out. It's our 4-part series. First time we've launched a big series like that. So thanks again to all the people who appeared on it. Thanks to all the work that the Roqe team did on it. And please, if you haven't checked it out yet, we'd love you to not just check out part 1, but all 4 parts of it on any of our platforms. But so we decided to do a recap show, right? Yeah. This week. And which we thought, well, rather than do a brand new Roqe show like this one, on Monday we would do, it's new, but we'd do a recap of things. I mean, the series is 6 hours long. So we thought, let's do a little recap. So I did a countdown list, and Reza and Shai worked on graphics and audio. And we did this kind of cool countdown show. But we also thought about, why don't we do it visually, do like on camera, because that would be something different for us. Now, let me just explain that I'm a radio guy. Like, I not only like doing radio, but I believe in radio, right? Like, I really believe in theater of the mind. It's my favorite thing. It's what I loved growing up. And so even though, when I really started in media in a big way, in like my first job at the CBC about almost 20 years ago now, I was a TV show. I was on TV, and that's what I did, and I was live on TV, in fact. But I still love radio the most, and I feel the most comfortable just doing the audio medium. But we say, okay, let's go back and do let's do this recap on camera, So Reza brings out the camera gear and all of that, and we shoot it. And the thing is we haven't really practiced in our studio. We don't have a lot of lighting. We don't have a lot of so we thought, let's give it a shot. And I look back at it and I think, it's not bad. I don't like, Reza likes it. Some of the Roqe team, Ponta the artist, producers, they were like, it's great. Let's put it out. It's something different. Like, I don't love it, but I think, okay, we're going to make our jump to video at some point so we can run this. So then Shia comes in, right, and says, Shia says, and he's over my shoulder looking at the video that Reza and I are, this is on Monday as we're about to put out the episode, right, Kian? And he goes, and I go, oh, Shai, what's the matter? What do you think? And he goes, oh, yes, but the problem is you don't have any charisma. Right? And I thought, no, hang on a second, because I thought, maybe Shai doesn't understand the word he's like. So I go, oh, you mean that it's not working in the same way on screen? Like, I'm trying to help him, And he goes, no, you don't have charisma.
No, you suck, is what I mean.
And I was like, what? I mean, so I couldn't, I was like, forget it. We're not doing the video. Just put up the audio, put some fun graphics.
I love that Shia, like, if anyone else said it, you would punch him in the face. But Shia
I would never punch anybody in the face, but I would say, no, it's not bad, but no.
But he's so gentle about it. He's like,
that's right. That's right.
Jian, you really suck.
But I looked at him. No, I mean, it's worse than you suck. I looked at him. I was like, You mean it doesn't look, it's not what it could be. The lighting is. No, I think you don't have charisma. I was like,
yeah.
Wow. Thanks, buddy. This is the way we're ending 2020 on the show.
Thing you could say.
Now let's go live on the air.
No, actually, I told you, you are, I could say, the most charismatic person I've ever met. Really.
Okay.
No, really, because. Well, maybe I don't know the exact meaning of charisma, but
backtracking.
No,
I like the way this is starting. I'm the most charismatic person you know. Yes,
really.
Okay.
For example, when you say to me, Shaya, do that or don't do this, it's this. I never again do that or. But I know how beautiful is your face and how charming is your face.
Are you hitting on him?
What's
happening?
I think it goes in the wrong direction. I know, but that picture that I saw, it's not bad, but it wasn't as charismatic as you actually.
Okay, all right. Well, that's not what you said. But anyway. But Shai, do you mean that the angle is wrong? No, you have no charisma.
And that's why
do you mean that it's in the it's technical problem, right? No. It is you. You have no.
But by the way, I'm really sorry if I.
I mean, obviously it had an effect on me. We're never doing video, ever.
Look what you did, Shia.
I'm, unless I shoot it on my iPhone or something. Now we will do video. We'll get it right, but it was a funny way to.
With more charisma.
And I think it shook Reza too. He was like, up until that point, Reza was like, "This is great. We got to put it out." And then he was like, "Yeah, I guess maybe like Shia."
On the same note, he defended me too. He was like, "I think it's better if we do it on an iPhone." I'm like, "So the hell?" That camera
he threw everyone under the bus. Yeah. See, he's so sweet that no one has it. No one, you don't feel bad. You don't.
That's what
you don't
I mean.
attack him. He says, but he says these things.
You would never suspect. You would he just says it so slyly. You're like, he can't possibly be mean saying that. He means this in a nice way.
It's me.
Shia, I guess maybe I made him, it's probably not in the camera work. No, Reza, it would be better on iPhone than your work.
Oh, man.
Anyway, disaster. We did recap the Pink Floyd episode. If you check that out, and the graphics actually are great that Reza did. Thankfully, there's no video.
I guess Shia was spot on. It was quite beautiful. It was a work of art.
It is a work of art. Now, Shia, it was the right call, I think. But we're also recapping our year, in the office to ourselves at Roqe. Our first 8 months. We launched in 2020, in April 16th, 2020. It was a good year for us, in terms of launching this project, something that we're really passionate about, and hopefully starting these conversations with the Iranian diaspora around the world. Favorite moments? Kian, do you have a favorite moment for 2020 before we get into today's content?
So many. Well, I have to mention Pink Floyd because I had no idea there was such an obsession with Iranians and Pink Floyd. So that was an interesting cultural dissection for me. Another one would be Arghavan Rezai, the female tennis player. Her story just captivated me, and the ending really did it for me. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the ending of that story really it made me emotional.
100%. If you haven't listened to Arghavan Rezai, the Iranian French tennis player, that's a few episodes ago. Please check that out. Captain Reza, any favorites?
Yeah, I've always been a huge admirer of Dr. Firuz Naderi, and when I didn't know that he was from Shiraz, and when I found out, I was pretty psyched about it. And when we were able to book him and that whole interview, it was amazing. I was very proud.
Shai, was there anything you liked on our show this year? Was there something that you enjoyed? Did any of our guests have charisma?
Oh gosh. Okay, favorite moment for me?
Sure.
So it was 1,000 moments that I got goosebumps during the interviews, but I want to mention one moment that it was really precious for me. And if we listen to that moment, for example, in next 10 years, it's really interesting.
Okay.
There is a moment when we were interviewing Dr. Arshid Azarin.
Yes.
And so this is a pandemic here.
So he's in France. Let me set it up. He's at one of our first episodes, actually. I think it was episode 6 or something.
Yeah.
And he's a great jazz musician, but he's also a doctor, a surgeon, in fact, in Paris. And this was the height of the pandemic back in the spring. Yeah.
Yes, and while we interviewing him, it in Paris. It was at 7, I think, p.m. and people came to balcony and
hitting their pots and pans and clapping for the doctors.
And I was imagining if, for example, in next 10 years we'll listen to that episode. It reminds me of these days that we stay in our home and.
Nice. Wow. Yes. Producer Susan has actually walked into your bed behind there. Do you have a favorite, Producer Susan? She doesn't like to talk on the show.
Yes, Jane Lewison.
Jane Lewis? Oh, really?
Yes.
That was your favorite?
Yes.
The Golha Project. Why did you like the Jane Lewison interview so much?
Because she said something. She said that we Persian people usually don't put that much effort to appreciate our culture and collect our heritage. But she did this project, and that was very moving for me.
It's amazing. That's a great reminder. Thank you for that, Producer Susan. You know what the problem with Jane Lewison is?
What's the problem?
No charisma. No charisma. These people, none of them have. There's so Jane Lewison was amazing. There's so many on my list. Parviz Tanawali. I had Aqvan Rezai, actually, that story that Shah Rukh, who was so great. Shah Rukh.
Farid
Zolan.
Was a
the
huge
whole
surprise.
story and the our Shah retrospective, the Shajarian special, the honesty of Hamid Dikpay. I love that. And of course, the Pink Floyd. I wanted to mention one of the interviews that I really love doing because I learned so much from her, and she's got an incredible story, is the great Persian Iranian American journalist now, Hoss Zare. And Hoss Zare has actually over the last couple of weeks, if you follow her on social media, she's had COVID, but I think thankfully she's coming through it, and so we send our love and thoughts to Homa in Los Angeles. But that was one of my favorite interviews as well.
What was the most surprising for you?
Who's the most surprising?
Yeah, surprising guest.
Shia, I thought Shia was a friend. So that's perhaps the most surprising.
The most shocking, I'd say.
The most shocking. All right, we've got Chef Hoss coming up. Very much looking forward to that with his new segment, Hospitality for Roqe. But first, here we go. She's a woman of letters, Roqe letters, that is. A dear friend, a diaspora blend, a gym fanatic, a kook who can be erratic, but lovable, smart, and funny, and on a journey to discover what we actually discovered. Here we go, Bachaha. It's All Persian to Us with Kian Nademi. All right, Kian, what have you got for us today?
All right. So, we're on this ongoing mission to build an audiovisual encyclopedia of Iranian diaspora identity, right?
Yes.
This is our thing. And with so much negative publicity around Iranians, I've been on this quest, you see, to find some of the positive aspects of being Iranian.
Yes.
And more specifically, positive contributions from Iranians to the world.
Yes.
Our gifts to humanity, if you will.
Oh.
So, you know how Iranians love to claim that everything was in fact first invented by the Persians. Not always true, of course, but it is once in a while. Did you know this?
Yes.
So it's New Year's Eve tonight, Jian.
Yes.
What are your plans?
Listening back to Roqe episodes, sitting in the corner of the room crying with the dog.
All right,
I'll be seeing a couple of friends.
So what tools will you use to enhance your evening? Of celebratory, like substance.
I see. Drinking, I guess. Yes.
So tonight, with your favorite alcoholic beverage in hand, you can give a big toast to the Persians. You know why?
Why?
Well, because the contents of which you hold in your hand was first discovered in Persia, the ancient land.
Wait a minute. You did this before. It's Shadab, right?
No.
No,
I have
more
not.
than Shadab.
This is a new one.
Okay,
This is a new one. Sometime between 885 and 925 AD, a genius by the name of Zakaria Razi, a Persian physician, alchemist, and philosopher, discovered numerous compounds and chemicals, one of which is alcohol.
Oh.
Did you know this?
No.
So
I did not know that.
Not only did we discover wine, but more specifically alcohol.
Right.
So I don't know what that says about us as a nation. We're just a nation of alcoholics, or we just really like to...
Most importantly, I love the fact that 2,000 years later, we take credit for it. Not only did we invent alcohol, but this is true, huh? So
It is.
Okay, so please go on.
So let me elaborate.
Yes.
So back then, chemistry wasn't a science per se, like it is today. There was no rhyme intended with that, by the way. The scientists of the Middle Ages were seen as a sort of magician, if you will, who called themselves alchemists. Alchemists around the world were experimenting, investigating how things were made during that time, most of which had the ultimate goal in life to discover a way to turn objects into gold. But some alchemists, like say Roqe, for example, were experimenting new ways to make medicines. So through years of experimental work, Roqe was the first to have discovered, among other things, alcohol in its purest form. The famous alchemist used methods of distillation and extraction to isolate the compound on its own, basically.
So I'm going to ask you a really naive question, but that's the alcohol you use in medical...
Like rubbing alcohol.
Right.
That's right.
Is that where alcohol that we drink came from?
So the compound is within the alcohol that we drink, but he was able to basically isolate it on its own, kind of
Okay.
thing. So,
All
and from that, of course, we've progressed medically as well as socially by
Right,
different
right.
forms of improving the alcoholic process. That doesn't make sense, but you know
that
what I
makes
mean.
sense. Yeah,
Not the actual process of becoming an alcoholic, but
Alcoholic
developing alcoholic drinks.
We've also developed the process of becoming an alcoholic.
Precisely.
Yes.
Now, so to be fair, since Roqe was one of the best physicians of his time, whose teachings, by the way, are still used in medical schools around the world, his discovery of alcohol was actually intended for medical use, as in rubbing alcohol rather than drinking alcohol. So it's the same compound that we have to thank in 2020, which helped prevent the spread of COVID-19 through the excessive use of, can anybody guess? Hand sanitizers.
Oh.
And so, as it turns out...
Wait, we also invented hand sanitizers?
Well, I mean, well, we pretty
Yes,
much did.
I think the answer is yes,
when
we did.
When you put it that way, yes,
Yeah.
essentially we did. And so, as it turns out, alcohol was first discovered by a Persian.
Wow.
It's all Persian to us.
Oh, that's amazing. So, did you know this, Shia?
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
all
Yeah.
right.
Did you know this, really?
Yeah.
Please tell us more.
Alcohol. Actually, it's a very fun thing in Iran when you want to drink. Sometimes for fun, we says Salamati Razi, the guy who. Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know that. That's
All
very
right.
Cheers
interesting.
to
But-
Salamata, cheers to Roqe.
Yeah, but
Right.
I have a very slight correction. Actually, the ancient Persian is actually.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Here we go. This is Keon's segment. And
Doesn't have any charisma.
Shaya's got the correction.
I was waiting for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, okay.
Go on,
Please,
Shia.
Shia.
I
yeah.
mean, the ancient Persia usually refer to before Islam.
Uh-huh.
This is after Islam. and
Okay.
It's
But it's still Persia,
yeah,
is it not?
yeah, but it's not ancient. It's
Did I say it? Oh, I mean, it's ancient from our perspective,
yeah,
is
yeah,
it not?
But yeah,
Shia, is it okay for us to run this segment, or should we take it down like we did the video?
no,
Look what you did. Now he's going to do this every time.
no, Kian is a really charismatic
Aw.
person.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Are you going to?
Well, that is now. I am curious though. Maybe somebody in the audience knows this. When the leap was made from this kind of alcohol to using it as a party tool, as
Well, I mean-
as for bacchanalian fun.
Well, wine and beer and other forms of alcoholic beverages existed through forms of what do you call it? When the grape kind of
Ferments?
Yes. So I'm assuming that this isolation of alcohol did help in other other forms of alcoholic beverages. I don't know, like say vodka, but then again, vodka also comes from a grain.
So I am compiling the list in my mind so far of what we can compile it on our site too, of what Persians have discovered as you brought to us, and it's all Persian to us. The mail system, wine,
Yes.
alcohol.
There we go.
There's a theme so far. Two of the three things involved.
It's all you need,
Drinking.
really.
Vodka, tequila.
You know who might know a bit about this as well?
Oh, I
Chef
think-
Hoss
yes,
coming
he
up.
will.
But in the meantime, thank you, Kian Nademi, with another installment of It's All Persian to Us. Well, it is time to launch a new segment here on Roqe as we are heading into a new year. And we're very excited about this, mostly because we are all shekamouz. That is, we are people who are fond of eating, but also because one of the greatest chefs in the world is going to give us something each week that we need to know about in the Iranian diaspora. To be clear, he is the captain of cuisine, the culinary colonel, the Tabrizi talisman, the Farsi foodmeister, the Turkish tradesman. It's your Chef Hoss Zare, and this is Roqe Hoss-pitality.
Hi, this is your Chef Hoss Zare, and this is Roqe Hoss-pitality.
There you go. Hello, Chef Hoss.
Hello there. Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year to you, sir. It's very nice to have you on the program and have you doing this segment.
I'm excited, super excited. Also, not only we're going to talk food, but I was listening to the show and Jian mentioned about the wine and the Razi. And there are two things very interesting about since the wine is food related. One is why we toast, what we say cheers since the New Year. The reason we cheers is if you know why, you'll be surprised. The second is again, we always pretend everything came from Iran, and the wine make the people to get drunk was actually starting the harem girls in the Iranian history. That's another story.
But wait a second. Hang on. Why do we say cheers?
Besalamati. That's what we say.
Why we say that one? Do you know actually?
No.
Something health related, I would imagine.
No. Opposite.
Wow.
To destroy our health?
Okay, quick. I don't want to take time off the program.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Old days, they used to cheer, they used to gobbler, kind of, and they toast the wine to each other. And the whole idea was you hit the goblet to each other so hard, you splash your wine to another one. If they want to poison you, you poison the toast too.
Yes.
It is the opposite of health.
Yeah.
That's the toast comes from. Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, everything made it by war and killing each other.
I heard that started in the Roman times.
The Roman.
Okay, I thought we were going to claim it as Persian. Like that too.
That's Roman. I claim the wine and harem girls. Apparently, they have this. We love aba angur, grape juice.
Yes.
We used to have this underground places called ambari. We used to save those juices for the winter time or later on to drink it. So apparently, the Shah, king of Iran, loved the grape juice, and then he asked for grape juice. So they bring him to drinks, but of course they used to drink somebody before him, so they don't kill the king. So he drinks, he gets drunk. But what happened was they find that this was experiment happened to harem girl trying to kill himself. He heard this this grape juice is poison, and he's gonna get him killed. So she goes to drink so much, and she start dancing drunk. So by that they find the effect of the wine.
Wow. Okay. And did you know that? I guess you do if you know Razi. So you know that alcohol. Kian's segment this time was about alcohol being discovered or invented by Persians. You knew that?
Yeah, I knew that. That was actually in a book in the school about the Abu Zakaria Razi. It was alcohol. We studied in the school, actually. It was one of the book of the elementary school.
And do you know how it went from being something that was some kind of medical usage or cleaning or whatever, and into something that you drink as in a festive way?
I am not 100% sure, but this goes back before Islam, because this is Dr. Yang Shram. He owned the Kolapakat's winery. He's the philosopher. He told about this story about the harem girls drinking and getting drunk. And they find more about the effect.
You've mentioned the harem girls a few times, Chef Hoss. You're clearly something that's made an impression in your mind.
It's the essence of the story.
Yes, very much the essence for you. Yes. So, this is our inaugural segment of hospitality. Now, as I understand it, you're going to be teaching us something each week that is either food related or Iranian culture and history related or cuisine put all together related. So what are you going to teach us about today?
Today we're going to talk about the importance of the kashk.
Importance of kashk.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we all know what this is, but you're going to explain what kashk is to non-Iranians, I assume.
Yeah, it's a cash. Basically, is a range of the dairy products that is being used in the cuisine of the Middle East, Asia, that region, and it's byproduct of the milk and the yogurt. And it's before talk about the cash. Basically, old days, human being they used to use the heat, acid, fat, and salt to preserve the food for the cold and the future. Like they didn't have refrigerator like these days, like a milk can hold it. So they have to transfer this product to be able to use it in the future. So the cash came as a byproduct of the dairy, which was a very, one of those products that it spoils fast.
Oh. So hang on, two steps back. So explain again what kashk is. It's a form of dairy, right?
Form of dairy, fermented, or cheese. So basically, you can use yogurt, or they call it gatuk before, and then you added water and let it sit outside, get sour, and then cook it down so much to get dry, and add salt. That's one way. Another one, they used to do the barley or grains, add it to the milk or some bread or flour. They used to get fermented and make it.
Okay, and you're saying this wasn't only used for taste, to add to dishes, but it had some preservative kind of use?
Yes, and also, again, they trying to save this milk product that getting spoiled in the future, in the winter, they use it.
Okay, so when was this discovered, that this would be used as a way of preserving food?
This goes to the old, way, way, way back. I mean, like, for example, it's very interesting that when they traveled, they had to travel a long way, and they had to take the food with themselves. So this was one of the major food products they used to carry with them in the, and again, it wasn't just the food, it was nutritious values. And also, one of the things about dairy, this one, cash, it helps you for dehydration when you use in a meal. There are different kind of the dishes they can use with this one, and we can talk later about what dishes they use this one.
How does cash stop your dehydration?
Because of the milk product in it. Like if you remember, in Iran, in the middle of summer, we have a tilit of the abdul khiyar. So that was on purpose to help you. There's a little salt factor, because your body needs some salt too. So it's not
so interesting. So there's a utility to this food. That was part of the discovery of it. Is cash? I mean, I've never come across anything is there something similar to cash in other cuisines? And if so, what is it?
Well, it's cash. It's not just Iranian. If you look at it in the Central Asia, Kurdistan, Middle East, Levant, Arabic country, they are Pakistan, Afghanistan, they all use it. They call it different names. Like, for example, in Turkish, we call gurut. Gurut means drying. Gurudan, gurut. That gara gurut comes from gara, means black, means drying black. That's byproduct of gurut. Everybody knows Iranian gara gurut. So that whole Central Asia, not Europe, not US, right now actually in US, becoming very popular. It's been the past few years with the introduction by Iranian chefs and people, and with the chefs, they start using this one.
But it's a very different taste for Westerners, isn't it? Because I remember growing up that when my mom would make osh, sometimes she would not make the osh kashk for my English friends or something, because it would be a much more of an acquired taste. Is that true?
It is. It's a little different, that one. But again, there isn't like in the US trying it. And for example, they make a butter here, US, right? What is the byproduct of butter? It's a buttermilk. Rather than throw away this water, they cook it down, they make a cash. So basically, right now, US companies, they learned also there's a market for it. So they're using this byproduct of the butter, which is the buttermilk, that in Iran we used to call dough. We used to drink it or make an ash. Now here, they use that one for making a cash.
So you're saying the North American version of our kashk is butter? Is that? Fair to
It's
say.
buttermilk from the byproduct of the butter. Butter comes out after the yogurt mix. You know, the first you mix a very fat, rich yogurt with the water. You make a butter, white butter. The byproduct of this, which is the buttermilk, or we call it dough in Iran. They used to, because the confusion comes here. When we talk about dough, people, they say mix the yogurt with water. No, that's the yogurt and water. The dough really means you make the butter.
I'm one of the people who thought that that's what dough was.
Too.
Yeah, so that's what. So that's
so
what
wait. Isn't it? It's yogurt, water, and salt.
Yes, yeah, that's a yogurt drinks. You don't call that one dough. Dough is basically it's after the water left. They used to use the yogurt with the water, put in the skin, goat skin, shake it back and forth to make a butter.
Wait, did you say goat skin?
Goat skin.
Yeah, the old fashioned. They used to hang it from the two V shape of the wood, and they would shake in it so inside the skin like a tube, and they used to make a butter, and then after they squeeze the butter out, that leftover called dough. So that was a drinking or making ash.
Okay,
so that's a real dough.
Hoss, Shaya has a question or comment. Go ahead, Shaya.
Please.
We have a proverb in Farsi, which is not a polite, but when you want to somebody to, for example, get out, you would say "Boro kashketo besar." So, do you know what
the translation being go and
rub or
go and rub your
go and scrub your
scrub your cash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear.
Okay. Cash for the peasant people's food for them to eat. It wasn't like the rich people's, like the soldiers or people they traveled and they didn't have enough money. They used to have this cash in their bag, so they used to get the place and put a pot and some water and cash, and add some dry walnuts and dates, make a meal. So that's basically insulting you. That means you are poor, you are pigeon food eaters. That's how it comes. Unfortunately.
Shaya, go rub your cash.
Yes.
So basically it's insulting you are a poor family.
We need Mona from Melbourne to explain that proverb so I really understand it. Chef Hoss, what is the practical or the best application of kashk these days? So if somebody's tuning in and they're living in Los Angeles or in Berlin or Australia right now, and where are they going to find kashk in Persian cuisine, and where would you want them to find it?
The famous one is ashereshte. You can make it with the kashk or yogurt if you don't. Another one's a kash badamjun. You cannot go wrong with that's the essence of the eggplant, basically barbecue eggplant. You mix it with the kashk. It's delicious, and that's actually my restaurant was the most popular one in 10 years past my ex-restaurant, and we introduced to the American. Another one
eggplant, kashke badamjun, so eggplant mixed with this kashk. And where do people find kashk?
Cash in any middle right now is become very popular. Actually, they don't have to buy the dry one. They already come to jars at the and there's like a solid version of it. It's liquid. You can use it. Any Middle Eastern market has it, especially since, again, I don't mean to brag about it. We started a Google program and travel training chefs. Now every state they demand for some of the exotic product, including kashk. It became popular between the chefs. They use it.
Chef Hoss, I have a question. Do you know how they started putting kashk in ash, for example? Like what the utility was for that? Like, was it intended to preserve the ash, or was it strictly for taste?
It's flavor. That
flavor,
was
got it.
Yeah, you can make a yogurt or the kashk, the flavor to it. That gives a little. Also, if you put a kashk, you don't put a salt anymore because kashk, you prevent from the adding salt. And another one is a favorite. Talk about kashk is the kalejush, which is a nickname is a kashk they call it, but its actual name is the kalejush. Basically, what I mentioned about these peasant food eaters, the pots of water, add this kashk in it, and some walnuts, some dates. That's a basic, but if you have access, you can add to it some meatballs in it if you want. So I made actually video the other day. It's a great, and actually in Tehran, I had an abgush with the kashk. It was delicious.
Okay. Well, listen, I know you're going to follow up each of these segments by posting something on social media, and I guess it'll be kashk related in the next couple of days so people can check it out. We'll link to you from our social media.
Absolutely, that's what the goal is. That one, what we talk, and we can back it up with some dishes. So in case people they want to have some simple, I'm gonna try to make it simple. Some of the simple dishes like we talked about, they're not very hard. The kalajush is one of the easiest one, and definitely I will do that one. Actually, that's a great idea.
You know, kalajush is freaking me out a little bit. I don't think that's a good. That's not a good name for a dish. Am I missing something? What is this? What
can you
translate it?
You
sounds horrible.
Asha Cash. Make it easier. So
I know, but why would you say kalajush? I don't even want to translate that. I mean, it's like head,
boiled head,
boiled head or something.
Well, it's delicious. It has the dry mint in it. The whole idea is dry mint, and if you make it at home with lots of caramel,
we just lost. You know, we made so much headway with non-Iranians. You know, they were like, "Oh, this culture sounds great," and then back to the boiled heads. You know, that's where we end up.
But it's delicious.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna have some peasant food tonight.
Some kalajush for New Year's Eve.
Well, the reason I say you can add a meatballs because I know Kian likes her meat, so
sure
that's
do.
what they're for her.
Chef
So meatballs would be a perfect to add.
On a mission to please Kian. Clearly, Chef Hoss, you are the culinary colonel, the captain of cuisine, the Tabrizi talisman. I thank you so much for this inaugural segment. We've learned about the importance of kashk, and we'll talk to you next week.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, buddy. Happy New Year, buddy.
Bye,
I always say,
thanks for being on the show.
Have a fun, safe, and delicious New Year.
Merci.
Bye-bye.
That was fun. I'm looking forward to some kalajush with my champagne tonight, ringing in a new year.
Or peasant food, if you will.
That's right, the peasant food. The utilities of kashk, who knew? Well, it is the end of the last segment of the last show of 2020 for us. And what better than going out on some of the words that you've sent us? It is time for Letters of the Week. So, Kian, we had this 4-part Roqe special series that we dropped last week. Why Pink Floyd and Iranian Obsession?
Yeah.
In exploring the surprising, the strange and deep connection between Iranians and the legendary British rock band Pink Floyd. And of course, we have people from all over the world, experts, musicians, music critics, producers, academics weigh in on this. I know we got a lot of mail on this.
We
right?
did.
A lot of comments.
Of course we did. How could we not?
We're not going to get to it all. We hope people listen to the series, but you've got some comments and mail lined up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So starting off on YouTube, we have a Sam Biani. He wrote, I became interested in and learned the English language because of this band. I learned English to understand the lyrics and to fly around the sun by listening to the echoes.
Nice. You know, somebody, was it Ali Azimi? Yeah. Yes. He said he learned English from Pink Floyd.
Isn't that
That's
sweet?
amazing. Yeah.
That's really sweet. And then we have Hani Aryan. She wrote, the start of the series made me cry from reminiscing. This was so fantastic. Thanks, team.
Oh, thank you, Hani.
Beautiful. And then we have Bob Carr wrote, thank you, Jian, for doing this. It means the world to us. I enjoyed listening to every word exchanged on this special.
That's really great. I love that. Thank you, Kian. I love that people listen to all four parts too. That means a lot.
Yeah. And then we have Shahriar Qilandust wrote, I remember Dark Side of the Moon, but Wish You Were Here got me hooked back in '76 in Tehran.
Nice.
And then we have a Marlene Khoury wrote, the memory of how Pink Floyd made me feel is all coming back to me. Could have listened to Sepp Osley all night long. Music, social media, and this program have a tremendous and immense power in bringing the messages to us. Very nice.
Thank you, Marlene.
And then we have a Peyman Fouroughi wrote, what an interesting topic. Roya Arab's comments and points were brilliant. Being an 80s kid growing up in Iran, me and my circle of friends were drawn to Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and many other rock icons to feel unique primarily. Pink Floyd resonated the most with us because of their mystical mood, their unique sound-making techniques with the guitar, and having a more melodic rock sound than U2 or the Rolling Stones, for example. Although we knew their revolutionary essence, I don't think our English was good enough at the time to be drawn only to their lyrics.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
That's Payman
Fouroughi.
Payman Fouroughi.
Yes.
Merci. Thank you so much for that comment.
Khob, and then we have Sauce, last name listed as E, wrote, Ramin Sadiqi was bang on about Camel. And well said, Roya Arab. Richie Blackmore, in my opinion, is the best all-around musician
Hang on a
ever.
second.
Yeah,
Let me
right.
explain here that Camel, this became a meme through the series. It's quite funny. Camel is this progressive rock band that came from the UK that I guess had a following. I saw the number of hits on YouTube from Europe and England. Okay, I get it. But really caught fire in Iran in the 70s and thereafter. And so the name starts coming up in our series, and I'm like halfway through the series, like, what is this Camel? I've never what are they saying? Like camel, And they're like, and Persians are so indignant about it. And Iranians are so indignant about it. What you? Yes, دیگه King Kerimzan, Pink Floyd, Camel نمیشناسی. And I'm like, I've never heard of Camel. I've never, no one I know has ever heard of Camel that didn't grow up in
And
Iran.
you're from the UK.
I'm
You're
from
a
the
music
UK.
guy.
I'm a music guy. I specialize. This era is something nothing. So that was very funny that Camel kept coming up.
Sadiqi.
Please go ahead.
All right, so he moves on and says, Richie Blackmore, in my opinion, is the best all-around musician ever. He's got the compositional skills of a Mozart or a Bach and the technical skills of a Paganini. Deep Purple is the most criminally underrated band in the world. They're all virtuosos of their instruments and are still releasing great new material despite the fact that they're all in their late 60s and early to mid 70s.
All right.
I've also never heard of Deep Purple, but anyway.
Yes, you have.
Deep
Have I?
Purples.
You've heard down, bow, 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 bow.
That's really annoying. Oh.
On the water.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that?
I think I'm going to go deaf,
So
but yes,
you've heard
I've
Deep
heard
Purple.
this.
There you go.
Well, then we have Al, King of Persia, on YouTube wrote, Jian, I finally listened to all 4 parts. What an amazing series. Thank you again. Your interviewing style is incredible and always makes people feel very comfortable and easy to speak with you. It's difficult to tell which part I love most. All of them are so good and educational. But I gear more towards part 4 since I knew those guests more and had similar experiences to them growing up in Iran during the 80s and 90s. I also think by now you know very well who Camel is.
Part 4 would have been Loga Ramin Tarkian, Anush Sabutakin,
Sana Sotude,
Sana
Arash
Sotude.
Miti.
Yeah. Thank you for that, King of Persia.
Well, and then we have Shadi Yusufian wrote, Pink Floyd had meaningful lyrics, great vocals, breathtaking guitar solos, political and social messages in their lyrics, fantastic music videos and album cover designs, touching melodies and songs. The list goes on and on. Oh, and I forgot to mention that they're also great live on stage. It's 3 a.m. and I just finished listening to all 4 parts. I couldn't stop. It was really good. Thank you all so much. Wow.
Great letter. Thank you for that, Shadi.
Do you know Shadi?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a fabulous artist.
Yes.
Yeah. That's in San Francisco.
Yes, actually, when you said Shadi Yusufian, I was wow.
Aw, that's sweet.
Amazing.
Khub, and then on Facebook we have a Rita Pana wrote, Thanks for the great interview, Jian. Here's what I think about your interview style. You could give Jian the most boring topic and he'll turn it into the most exciting show. Never a dull question or answer. Well done.
That's really sweet. Thank you for that.
Khub, and then on Instagram we have a Farid Yahaqi wrote, one of the other reasons that Pink Floyd is so famous amongst Iranians is the fact that their music is so multidimensional. It can actually create vivid images for a huge population of music lovers who can't even comprehend their deep lyrics. The atmospheric characteristic of their music is so entertaining and imaginative at the same time. It feeds your eyes through your ears.
Nicely said. Thanks, Farid.
It's poetic. Khub, and then we have Hamid Reza M wrote, so many elements in Pink Floyd's music made me fall in love with every note they play, and not to mention their great lyrics. And then we have Hamid Pakseresh wrote, your voice, intonation, accent, and the way you pronounce words is so stunning. Huge fan of you. And
Nice.
that's Jian.
Thank you, Hamid.
Khob. And then we have Nasim Ob on Instagram wrote, I loved listening to Pink Floyd special. Also taking the opportunity to thank you for your wonderful podcast. Right in the midst of mixed feelings with my Iranian diaspora, I got to know about your page. I enjoy listening to the stories and connect with so many. A professional platform with well-conducted interviews like these was so much needed for our community. Thank you so much, Jian, for the initiative and the Roqe team for your efforts. Keep rocking and rooking.
That's not the letter of the week?
No, but it's funny you mentioned.
Thank you. Who was that from? Nasim?
This was from a Nasim Ob.
So good.
Yeah,
Nasim Ob.
it's very good.
Keep rocking and rocking. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's cute. Khob, and it's finally time for the letter of the week. And I must say, I love this letter. This is from Amir Reza Shams. He emailed us, actually. He writes, Hi, Roqe Team. This is going to be a long message because I've been meaning to write to you for months now. And I guess now is the perfect time to send it. I'm going to cover 3 things in this letter, so bear with me. First of all, I love the podcast. I got familiar with it 3 months ago through my brother who lives in Canada. And I just finished listening to all the episodes. I follow it religiously. I've laughed with it, got emotional with it, and learned a lot from it. I believe it's not only important and beneficial for people in the Iranian diaspora, but also for Iranians in Iran like me. Add to this the chemistry between you guys, the brilliant guests, and Jian being the marvelous interviewer he is. This all makes Roqe the amazing cocktail that it is. Secondly, I'm an avid Pink Floyd fan, and the idea of this Floyd series was a special fan service to me. As a Generation Z and an Iranian, I didn't really notice the fact that some might say how strange it is that I'm obsessed with this band. This series made me wonder about this and made me ask my father, also a Pink Floyd fan in his youth, about this fact. And he pointed out some of the things that got discussed in this show, like the availability of it during the music drought of post-revolutionary Iran, for example. Thanks again for this. It was so amazing that I binge listened to it for 2 days straight. And the fact that you didn't put out a new episode last Thursday kind of made me wish that I hadn't. And then he says, last but not least, Jian, I'm an Arsenal fan since the age of 4 years old.
Attaboy.
And I'm writing this after we beat Chelsea. Just wanted to say that there might be light at the end of this long and dark tunnel. Thanks again for the amazing show, Jian, Kian, Shaya, Reza, and all the people behind making it. All the best and have an amazing new year.
Wow.
That was just
So much.
Amir Reza Shams?
Yeah.
In Iran. That is, what a great letter. Thank you so much for taking the time. Your taste is immaculate, clearly, because you appreciate Roqe and Arsenal. So thank you. You get the letter of the week. Thanks to everybody who's been listening to us in the last few months as we've started the show and been building it. We're looking so forward to 2021. Thank you to Chef Hoss Zare today. Thank you to Kian and It's All Persian to Us. Thank you guys. Thanks to the incredible Roqe team. It's the end of the show. It's the end of this year. We're back on Monday, but, let's be dramatic. This is full time for Roqe for today. For all things Roqe, remember you can go to our website, roqemedia.com, where we've got our patrons page where you can support us. All of our episodes, a full page devoted to Pink Floyd, all the episodes of that series, and the recap episode as well. Thanks to the amazing team who put this show together each week. Producer Susan, Ponta the artist, Thoughtful Negin, the fabulous Kian, Savvy Roham, Aghay Mehrdad, Master Muhammad, Captain Reza, and Groovy Shaya. Thanks again to all of you out there supporting us, sharing the content. Please subscribe. You can find me on Instagram at Jian Ghomeshi. Happy 2021. Mizun Bashi.